Yo, good evening. Happy Wednesday. What do they call it? Happy Hump Day, I think is what they call it. But for those watching the replay, today I'm going to be talking about evictions with your rental properties, how to avoid them, things to do to not get burnt on. Tell you about a couple of my eviction stories, and then also open it up for a Q&A thereafter. So, what's up, Tito? Ken, Crit, Evelyn. Appreciate y'all taking the time to jump on today. So, like I was saying, today we're gonna talk about eviction stories in real estate and how to avoid evictions as well. And then we're gonna open it up to Q&A. So anything about real estate, business, finance, entrepreneurship, we're gonna open up to Q&A as well. But what I want to start with when you own real estate, what up, Tito? Hope all's well, brother. When you own real estate, the first like 1 to 10 rental properties is the hard part, because if you only have one or two or three or four or five rentals, and you get a bad tenant and they don't pay rent and or you have to evict them, it's going to hurt. You're probably out $1,500 a month for at least a month, maybe two, maybe 3 months. That's probably your cash flow. And then when you evict somebody, you have to go in and you have to turn the unit again. So you got to go put more money into the property, another, one, five, 10, $20,000, however bad the eviction is. You got to put more money into the unit to get somebody to move back into the property. So when you own less than 10 rental properties, again, you have a bad tenant. It's very bad, right? It's very bad. What up, T-Har? But if you have like 50 properties or 20 or 30 or 40, you have a bad tenant, all your other properties income is ideally going to cover that bad expense, right? So the goal is to be able to get to a portfolio size where evictions or bad tenants or non-payment of rent doesn't destroy you and your income and your cash flow and blow everything up, right? Luckily for me, early on, I didn't really have any evictions. Early on, we may have had like one, but I never had a property that got completely destroyed, right? Because an eviction is like, all right, you're out $1,500 a month for 2 months. Like, yes, it's not good, but it's not the end of the world. But if you get a tenant in there that you're out 1,500 for 2 months, so that's $3,000, and they completely destroy the property, and you have to go in and put another 10 or 20 grand into the property to get it ready to rent again, that's where it hurts. That's where you're going to have some pain and some heartache, because now you're, $25,000, $30,000 out of pocket to get a property back up to where it needs to be. So I'll give you a couple of my eviction stories and then how to ideally avoid that in the future. I have two like really bad eviction stories. Um, and remember, like most people want to get into real estate and their big fear, like I don't want to own rental properties because I might get a bad tenant. That's everyone's biggest fear joining real estate, but it's like way over thought about, because it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen at the scale that people think it's going to happen at. I own 130-ish rental properties. I've owned rental properties for 9 years now. And I've had two bad eviction stories. I've had other evictions, but it was, 60 days, they're out, new tenants in, everything's good. But the two bad ones, here they are. One was when COVID hit. They had eviction moratoriums, which means that they put a law in place essentially where tenants did not have to pay rent and landlords cannot evict them for non-payment. So that we could not evict them for non-payment, which is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But it is what it is. That's what happened. And we had a tenant that just moved in. They were maybe 2 months into their lease, and they stopped paying rent, and we couldn't evict them. So they ended up it was like 6 or 7 months behind. Finally, the eviction moratorium got lifted. They're like 6 or 7 months behind. I think rent at the time was like $1,600 a month. So it's like $15,000 behind in rent, which sucked, right? That was terrible. I was out 15 racks. That wasn't ideal. And then finally, when we got them out of the property, I walked into the property personally, and it was destroyed. There was feces on the ground. There was feces still in the toilet. The appliances were stolen. The washer and dryer were stolen. There were holes punched through the doors. There were holes in the walls. Some of the flooring needed redone. So I had to go in there and I had to spend probably another 15-ish grand to get the property turned over to be ready for another tenant to lease it. So I was out 15 grand in rent and I was out 15 grand in repair costs just to get that property back to being rent ready, right? Which is crazy, $30,000 on a property. It sucked. But again, that's very not normal. It's happened to me twice. Luckily at that time I owned, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 other rental properties. So it didn't like destroy me because I had enough money from my other properties to cover that income, to cover those expenses, right? Which was a blessing. Second bad eviction story. And again, after this, I'm going to tell you like what we do now to avoid these eviction things. But this just happened maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. Had a property. So I bought 17 houses. We bought 17 houses, and the vast majority of them we put new tenants in. There was a couple of the properties that still had previous tenants from the previous landlord. This happened to be one of those properties. We got it all inspected when we bought the property, and the property was in phenomenal condition. It had granite countertops. It had hardwood flooring. It was just how we would have renovated a property. So the property was essentially turnkey. It was beautiful, right? Tenant lived there for about 2 years, almost 2 years. And they decided to stop paying rent. And one of the errors that we made is we let it draw out. So they stopped paying rent. They gave us some excuses: a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Finally, into the next month, we finally filed the eviction, which this is what we're going to talk about next. It wasn't me; it was a property management company. Finally filed the eviction. So they were about 60-ish days, 70-ish days without paying rent at $2,000 a pop. So that's $4,000. And lost income, right? Finally, we got them out. It was like 2.5 months, so probably like 5 grand. Got them out of the property, walked into the property, and the property was rocked. There was trash all over the place. It was a couple grand in just getting the trash out of the property. Again, they had feces, all like shit, right? All over the floor. There was, I don't know, 30, 40 holes punched in the wall. So a ton of drywall work. The whole house needed painted, right? It was a big house, 2,000 square foot house, a lot of paint, a lot of drywall. All the flooring needed replaced because it was damaged. When you got feces all over the place, it soaks into the flooring. It's all going to need replaced. Cabinet doors were snapped in half, so we had to replace some of the cabinet doors. Their bathrooms, the entire vanities that were the doors, the drawers, the cabinets were ripped out of place. There was a window air conditioning unit in the bathroom, not in the window. It was just sitting on the vanity. So I don't know if it just happened to be there or if they actually decided, they needed an air conditioning unit while they was, doing their thing on the toilet. I don't know what happened. But it was bad. It was really bad. And the funny part about it, they had 3 BMWs in the front driveway. I don't know if they were rented or leased. I don't even know if they were theirs or if they were stolen. I have no clue. But there were 3 BMWs in the driveway, on top of them not paying rent, on top of them moving out, and on top of it costing me another 20-ish, $25,000. So I lost, 5-6 grand in income. I lost another 25-ish, $30,000 in expenses that I had to put back into the property to get it ready to rent. The renovation is going to take about a month. And then I got to find another tenant, which might take another 2, 3, 4 weeks. That's $2,000 a month. So let's call it 2 months. It's another $4,000. Now I'm at $34,000. And then when I lease it up, I have to pay my property management company half a month's rent to lease it. That's another $1,000. So I'm like 35 grand into this property on an eviction. Luckily, the other 16 houses that I bought in the same portfolio for the year, we profited about 30-ish grand this year. So I didn't lose money, but I had to put in all the profits back into the property to get it ready to go. So again, terrible experience, not ideal, but it's happened to me twice in 9 years, owning over 30 rental properties. So don't think that this is normal. Don't think that is regular. Don't let that deter you from buying rental properties because it should not. It definitely should not. So where was the error that we made, and then how can we fix it in the future, right? So, this might sound a little bit harsh, but, I had to have a talk with my property management company, and I was like, hey, it's due on the 1st. It's late on the 3rd. We 3-day notice. 3-day notice essentially says, hey, you have 3 days to pay us X amount of dollars plus the late fee, or we're filing an eviction. So 3-day notice posted on the 4th, and then eviction filed on the 8th. So you're only 8 days into this to be able to start the eviction process, because in Ohio, where I own real estate, the eviction process takes about 30 to 45 days, depending on the timeline. So minimum, I'm a month out. Even if I filed it same day, I'm at least a month, probably a month and a half. The problem that we did, my management company did, is that they listened to the excuses of the tenant. What they're late, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm going to pay you next week." And then next week comes, and they're like, "Oh, well, I can't. Blah blah blah. So and so got hurt and injured, and I had to pay their hospital bill, and I need another week." And then another week comes, and they're like, "Yeah, it's tight. Give me a week. I'm going to pay you next week." And now you wake up and you're 1.5, 2 months in without collecting rent. So you're going to hear every story in the world from people of why they can't pay, right? Hey, this happened. Hey, my cousin got sick. Hey, whatever it is, right? And there's a time and a place for everything. So do I think some, reasons are reasonable? Yes. Have we worked with tenants before? 100%. We work with tenants every month to catch up on payments, right? We don't want to evict. Eviction costs money. Eviction costs time. Evictions, we have to go in and renovate the property again to put more money into the property. Like, ideally, we want the people to stay in the property. That's like best case scenario for everybody involved, right? But if they don't, and they don't want to play ball, and they want to give us some BS excuses, and they don't want to communicate with us, then you have to be fast to file evictions. Because if you don't, guess what? They're trained to pay late. They're trained to pay late. And word gets around. If you own multiple properties, you think people don't talk? If you own a duplex, you think people don't talk? You own a 5-unit property, you think people don't talk? Come on now. These people talk. They all talk. They'll be like, yeah, man, I haven't paid rent and I'm 10 days late. Guess what? Oh, for real, man? I'm not paying them next month either. It can go downhill very, very quickly. So how you got to manage it? It's due on the 1st. It's late on the 3rd. You post on the 4th. You evict on the 8th. Right? That trains people to pay on time. Because if not, what happens is that rent, which should be people's first expense, becomes their last. Right? Rent should be, what up, Matt? How you feeling, brother? Rent should be people's first expense out the door. Having a roof over your house should be the first expense, but then they put it last. They pay their phone bill. They go on vacation. They go out to eat. They give money to their family. Whatever it is, that should be their first payment is housing, right? And if you don't do that, again, you train them to think that that's okay. You know what I mean? So that's how we handle that. On the front end, on the leasing side, 3 times rent is ideal. It's not always going to happen like that. 650 credit score plus is always ideal. It's not always going to happen like that. We do not rent to people who have eviction reports on their record in the past. We do not rent to those people. So yeah, that's kind of some eviction stories. Is how you can get around it. The biggest thing is time wasted. Don't waste time, because what happens if someone's like, hey, I need a week. Okay, cool. You can have a week, right? It's due on the 1st. It's late on the 3rd. I post on the 4th. I file on the 8th. So filing an eviction costs money. I got to hire an attorney. I got to file the eviction. I got to file the paperwork. So let's say it's $250. So you have a late fee of $50 plus $5 a day plus a $250 eviction filing. So, you're what? $350 in at this point. So yes, you can still, it takes 30 days for an eviction to happen. So you're going to have another 30 days to pay me, right? All eviction does is lights a fire under it. You don't get evicted that day. It's not on your record that day. It's only on your record if it goes all the way through the eviction process. So file it and then charge them the filing fees and the penalties and the late fees. And then if they become whole and they make all the payments, great. Problem solved. They're still living there. Life is good. But if you drag it out and you wait and you wait and you wait, you're just going to continue to lose money, right? You have bills, you have expenses, you have an obligation in your life to be as profitable as possible to take care of yourself and take care of your family. That's your obligation. When you bought real estate, you signed on the dotted line that said, I will pay every month. You can't go to your mortgage company and say, hey, I need a month. Bear with me. No, they'll be like, oh, sorry, here's your notice, here's your sign. It doesn't happen like that. So yeah, that's what I got on evictions today. Let's get some questions rolling in here. and see how I can help. Anything real estate, business, finance, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, whatever it is. Drop some questions, and we'll get things rolling. I'm out here in Phoenix thinking about investing into real estate. The bird looks great. I don't know so far. Love the vids. Yeah, buying real estate using other people's money using the bird method is amazing. It's absolutely incredible. Highly recommend it. When you screen tenants, you require 3 times the monthly rent and income. Ideally, yes. It doesn't always work like that. In your experience, do you find more expensive rentals attract a more responsible tenant with less evictions? The one example, the last example I just gave you, it was in an extremely nice neighborhood, amazing school district, and they absolutely destroyed the place. So sometimes yes, sometimes. And some of like the lower end properties, we've had the best tenants that we've ever had. Keep the properties amazing, and have been there for 5 years. They never missed a payment, right? So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. How important is it to have an LLC when starting up? It's always ideal. It's always ideal to have an LLC, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. I wouldn't not do real estate because of it. You know, do you use property managers in the case of eviction? Or are you doing the work there? No, we use property management for everything. They manage it. They do the repairs. They lease it. They evict them. They go to court for us. They do everything top to bottom. And we pay them 8%. We pay them 8%. Are you buying properties utilizing creative financing? Yes. I have in the past. Yes, for sure. Scumbag. Sounds promising. Why? I'm curious why. Drop another comment. Let me know why. First step after buying land. What's the first 5 steps after clearing? Yeah. Depends on your goals with the land. Are you building new construction? Are you doing entitlements? Are you flipping it? I can't answer that question without knowing the end goal. How do you keep a renter from trashing the property? I mean, you can't officially keep it from trashing the property. It's vetting them on the front end. You can do like yearly inspections if you want, but like that's part of the game of owning real estate. How big is Airbnb vesting for you now in this current market? I don't own any Airbnbs. I had 7 of them. I got rid of all of them. I have $100,000 in equity in my house, but just quit my W-2 job, so I can't get a traditional mortgage, but I want to keep investing. What do? You can flip houses using other people's money, or you can buy real estate using other people's money, burr into them, and then use the DSCR loan. DSCR loan is essentially a no-doc loan, so you don't need W-2 income to be able to qualify. So I'll look at the DSCR loans. How does the current real estate market look? Is it still expensive? I'm still buying real estate. There's still opportunities everywhere, right? I'm not maxing out numbers right now because I am being conservative, but I mean, we're still buying deals. We bought a deal Friday. We bought a deal Monday. We sold a house today. We're buying another one on Friday, and we're buying 4 more before the end of the year after Friday. So I think we're buying 13 or 14 houses this month. So yes, there's still deals out there. Hey, bro, so this is hard to type out in the comment, but basically I'm getting ready to take on my first fix and flip using hard money. I think I underwrote it good enough to where I didn't get the rest of your question, Corey. Drop another one. I'll try to put it together. Is there a platform where you see these ugly buildings for sale for investment? No. The best deals you're going to get is when you find the deals yourself. When you go direct to the seller, without realtors involved, without brokers involved, without any of that stuff, you are communicating directly with the seller and you're buying the house directly from them. Those are the best deals that you're going to get. When people, show checks making $100,000, they're direct to the seller. So, if it was that easy, if you could just go to a website and say, yep, buy, make $100,000, everybody would do that. You got to find off-market deals. And, if you want help finding off-market deals, raising money, flipping houses, or buying rental properties, if you comment the word elevate in the comment section below, the word elevate, I can send you a little bit more info. Would love to help you out with that. How can I use the equity in the properties that I currently have to purchase more property without being over leveraged? You can't. If you're borrowing on equity, that's over leveraging, right? What I would recommend is find an off-market discounted piece of real estate. So the deal we're buying on Friday, what am I buying it for? I think I'm buying it for $90,000. It needs about $40,000 to rehab. So I'll be all in for $130,000. It's worth about $180,000. So I have $50,000 of equity. So I'm going to be able to buy this deal using other people's money, renovate this deal using other people's money, place a tenant in it, refinance it with the bank, pull all my money out, pay off all my investors, own the property 100% myself with like maybe a grand or two of my money. So that's what I would do. I would not borrow against equity right now, because you borrow on a home equity line of credit, you're paying 10%. It's very hard to make 10% buying more rental properties. What property management company do you use? I use two. One of them I'm kind of building out, myself with a guy that does a lot of my construction. So we're kind of building it together. But the best management is going to be in-house management. Out exterior property management is always going to mess something up. What would you do with 20K liquid cash if you had to start over? Learn the game of real estate. So hire a coach. That's what I did early on. I paid 25 grand for a mentor. I'm not saying you got to spend that much money, but I would definitely learn the game from somebody who knows what they're talking about, and then spend the rest of that money on marketing. You're going to spend that money to go out there and find deals, right? The silliest thing that I ever hear people talk about is like, oh, I'm not going to spend money till I make money. You're not going to make no money. This is a marketing business. Yes, it's real estate, but it's marketing. You have to market to find deals. So I would take that money to do marketing to find off-market discounted real estate. What's up, Dimitri? Are you paying the management company finder's fees to each new lease? Yeah, so I pay half the month. So I pay 8% to the management company, and then if they lease it for $2,000, I'm paying them half of that, so $1,000. Have you heard of Rhino Insurance? I have not. How do you underwrite your flip deals? So this is a great question. So I try to have ideally 20% profit margins, minimum 15% profit margins. And what that means is if I'm planning on selling this house for 300 grand, I want to make minimum $45,000, ideally $60,000 net after closing fees, realtor fees, insurance, interest to my lender, like everything net in my pocket. Because what happens is, so I'm selling a house. I sold a house today, and the projection was $60,000 in profit. I was thinking of selling it for 400 grand, so I was at 15% profit margin. And what happened was, we bought it right before the market kind of got crazy. Interest rates went up. We went into the winter. The market slowed down. Less buyers. So we didn't sell it for 400 grand. We ended up selling it for, I think, like 357, 360, something like that. So my $60,000 profit margin got cut to about 27 grand. So I sold the property for 357. I made 27. So that's what's the math on that? I don't know, 7-8% profit margin. So so I went from a 15% profit margin to a 7% profit margin. So the thing is, if I'd have bought this house with only expecting to make 10% profit, I essentially would have broke even, because my 10% would have turned into like 1 or 2%, right? So the thing is, when I'm evaluating a deal, I want to have a minimum 15% profit margin, ideally 20%, because the way I look at it is like, worst case scenario, I don't want to lose money. Worst case scenario, I just want to make less money. That's what happened on this deal. I didn't lose anything. I lost opportunity cost of money, but I didn't have to write a check to sell a house. I still got paid 27 grand when I sold a house, right? So that's how I evaluate it. I want to make 15, 20%. Do you have people on the same team you are starting investment, like accountants, tax expert, lawyers? What constitutes your team as a new real estate investor? If you ain't got no money, you don't need nothing. If you're broke, no one's going to sue you. You don't got to worry about taxes. You don't even got to file taxes if you ain't got no money. So, like, again, people drastically overthink getting started, right? They want the answers to to this day, I still don't have the answers to everything. I learn something in real estate every single day. Every day I learn something in real estate. And it's like, I'm good with that. I'm okay with failing. I'm okay with not knowing all the answers. But too many people want to know everything, right? I've switched CPAs in the past. I've switched bookkeepers in the past. I've switched lawyers in the past. I've switched title companies in the past. I've switched realtors in the past. I've switched all that stuff, right? You don't need those things. Go find deals, go raise money, start making money, and then you can figure all that stuff out. Like besides that, like nothing matters. So it's fine. Go make money first, and then people will find you. If you're making money, people will find you. I get calls, every week from different people. Like, hey, can we win your business? Can we earn your business somehow? Go make money, and like you'll find the best people out there. Does that 15-20% different when doing a deal? Are you okay with breaking even on one of those if you still have rent coming in? So yes, it changes. Um, Net. So when you flip a house, net profits, there's a lot of other fees involved, like realtor fees, closing costs, selling fees, all that stuff. When you refinance it as a rental, you don't pay realtors. You don't have as much closing costs. There's a lot of money that you can save, but usually banks will refi you at 75%. So ideally in these deals, I want to have 25% equity left. So then I can refi, pull all my money out and still own the asset, right? So the goal is always to do real estate without any of your own money. It doesn't always work like that, but that's always the goal. How many rental properties do you have? About 130, worth, I don't know, 25, 26, $27 million or so. And how much have you made from it? How much how much have I made from my rental portfolio? This is gonna sound crazy, but I've never to this day taken any money out of my rental portfolio. All I do is just let it build. And then on a bird deal, let's say that I'm all in for 80% instead of 75%. So when I refi this house, I got to put 5 grand of my money into it. And I can own a $200,000 asset for $5,000. And I'll just put my 5 grand into it. So like to this day, I've never pulled money out of my rental portfolio, right? I have a long-term goal in mind. I want to own $100 million of real estate, right? And it's coming. It's already done. Time just ain't caught up yet. 10 years from now, I'm definitely going to own 100 mil. I'm just trying to do it in the next 1, 2, or 3 years, right? So that's what I do. I don't take profits from my rental portfolio. I just keep buying more properties. Is Detroit a good market to invest in? I have no idea. I know a lot of people that own real estate up there, but I don't have any personal experience. What up, Amari? Are you open to a new title relationship? I think we are all right. I think we are all right right now, but I appreciate you asking. You ever think about taking money from real estate business, put that into other business ventures? Yeah, I got a lot of other businesses. I've invested in a lot of different things. So I don't take my rental income to do that though. I take my active income. So when I flip houses, my other businesses that make money, I take that money and invest in other things as well. I have 2 parcels, half acre. I could easily split into 2 apartments. How hard or easy would it be to fund and start owning more real estate? I mean, to build, there's a lot of money up front. You got to get engineering. You got to make sure it's zoned correctly. You got to get architects. So for a single family house, you're probably going to have $10,000 out of pocket up front before anybody will finance it, because you need all the plans and bank finance and all that stuff put together. So I would get it ready to build if you want to build, which again, 10-ish grand maybe. And then you can get financing for it. How do you explain your affirmations in your bathroom to your kids? I read your book and immediately took action. I love it. I love it. That's dope. So yeah, if I got 2 books out, if you want to grab a copy of it, one book is From Valet to Millionaire. It's the 10 things they don't tell you to become rich. So it's a mindset book. Highly recommend you reading it. It's what got me to where I am today. Definitely recommend it. It's on Amazon, and you can also hit the link in my bio. And then I have another book called Get Free Houses. And that book is about buying real estate using other people's money. So grab both of those. But how do I explain my affirmations to my kids? I don't have kids yet. God willing, hopefully soon. But how would I explain it to them? I'd be like, hey, mommy and daddy's trying to go somewhere, trying to build something in life. We're trying to fly on the jets. We're trying to get a bigger house. We're trying to, put you into a private school. We're trying to take you on, all your basketball AAU trips, right? I know for a fact when I have kids, I'm sharing the vision. I'm talking about it. Talking about when we grew up, and drop a comment below if you grew up differently than this. Nobody talked about money. Nobody. Actually, drop a comment if that's how you grew up. Drop an emoji or flex an emoji or something. Nobody talked about money when I grew up. And I always remember like when I was a kid and we would like go with a friend somewhere, and like I would be in like somebody else, like with their parents, or that like the kid would be with me and my parents. And then we'd get back from that place and we're like, hey, we did so and so. And then like the parents kind of like, shove like some money, like $20 like here, and it's kind of like hidden, right? It's like the secretive thing to talk or show money. It was always weird to me. But like guys who have money and gals who have money, guess what they talk about? Money. Would you imagine that? My conversations talk about money. How much do you make? What did you do last year? How much you doing monthly? What do you need help with? Where are you struggling at? We talk about money. So I want my kids to grow up in an environment where money is a normal thing, right? And I'm going to make sure that they know it didn't come easy. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. If anybody's got any advice, let me know. But whether that's like paying them to read books, paying them to do chores, I don't know. I'm going to find a way to encourage them to understand that money doesn't just grow on trees. But I'm absolutely going to talk about money. So I think affirmations are a great way to have that conversation with them, so they understand like this doesn't come easy. Like this takes work. I'm already in discussion with Caleb. I'm in. Let's get it. Let's go. Looking forward. Shoot me a DM when you join, man. And I'm working on launching soon. Working on raising the funds. I love it. I love it. Which market do you buy your rentals? My rentals are in Columbus, Ohio, but there's a lot of good areas. But Columbus, Ohio. I see a couple people that drop the word elevate, but if you write like anything after that, it won't send you the info. So just put the word elevate if you want to learn real estate or grow what you're already doing, find off market deals, raise money, flip houses, buy rental properties using other people's money. If you want to learn any of those things, drop the word elevate below, and I'll send you some more information on it. What's the game plan to get 100 M's in 3 years? We're already rocking. We're already on the way. I'm at 27 now. How much real estate? I don't know the number that I bought this year, but it was $10 million plus of real estate that I bought this year. And I'm on a rip. I'm buying a lot of real estate right now. And like you got to understand, my properties double every 10-ish years. So my $27 million portfolio 10 years from now will be worth $54 million. So if I just if I double my portfolio now, in 10 years, it'll be worth $100 million, right? So again, time, it's already done. Time's already there. I'm just trying to condense time. So I'm buying a lot of single families. I bought a couple warehouse buildings this year. Bought a couple apartment buildings this year. So buy bigger deals as well. It'll help me get to the $100 million faster. And by the way, I'm doing all this using other people's money, raising money from other people to do all this. Curious if you have a full-time in-house transaction coordinator. I do not. It's something I'm actually in the process of hiring. Just joining. Sorry if this is a duplicate question. I flip now. Some have tried to get me into building, but I feel like it's less headaches to flip. Your thoughts? Congrats on being in the game. I've built new construction in the past. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. It just has a little bit longer timeline. Flips you can usually get in and out of in like 3, 4, 5 months. New construction just takes like 9 to 12 months, depending on the size of the house that you're building. These are like 2,000 square foot, 2,500 square foot houses. If you're building a mansion, it's going to take a lot longer than that. But if you have access to land and you have access to private money, build some new houses. It's a dope process. There's a lot less surprises because you're building from scratch, but it does take more time. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. I get embarrassed when my kids see material shit on my affirmation list. Fuck that. They want that stuff just as bad as you do. You know what I mean? They want to pull. I don't know how old your kids are, but they want to pull up to their basketball game and daddy's Rolls Royce calling in, right? They want to get out the car smiling. Everyone's like, yo, like, what is that? They want the same stuff, right? Again, we go back to the money thing, right? We're going back to the money thing. People make it weird to talk about money. Fuck that. Talk about money all day, every day. That's what I do, right? When you talk about something, it's attracted to you. It finds a way to you, right? If I'm sitting here talking about money, you guys are here because you like money, right? I love talking about money because it's what makes the world go round, right? So don't overthink it. And there's a ton of people with emojis in here. You're on the right path. You did it, right? A lot of people read my book and didn't do nothing that it said. Nobody wanted to talk about money growing up because no one had any. Agreed. Some people that are broke that are scared about talking about money. When I was broke, I was talking about money. I was like, "Yo, how much money you got? How'd you get the Rolls Royce? How you get this house? Because I ain't got it, and I want to figure out how to do it." It's just what people do. I was 8 on the couch with my parents as they filed bankruptcy. Money was the last thing thought about in my household, and that's what light a fire under my ass. Man, I got goosebumps. That's motivation, right? There's a saying that I say, it's like, it doesn't matter where your motivation comes from, as long as you are motivated, as long as you have motivation, right? Use that to light a fire under you for the rest of your life. My friends' dads did. They're multimillionaires, but not my parents or grandparents. Agreed. Like, again, there's not, your parents weren't trying to do you a disservice, right? They weren't trying to like make you not successful. They didn't know. You know what I mean? Ed Milet says this. He says it often. He said when you see a rich family, at some point they were not rich. There was one person at one point in that family's lineage that decided to be the one to change their family forever, right? I'm the one for my family, 100%. And I'm just getting started and I'm already the one. Like, you can be that for your family. Somebody has to break the cycle. Somebody has to do it, right? Why not you? Why not you? Serious question. Why can't that person be you? I'll tell you why. You got excuses. Oh, well, the market's oversaturated right now. Oh, well, interest rates are too high. Oh, well, I didn't grow up with money. Oh, well, I just have a different story than you. Oh, well, my parents were divorced growing up. Oh, well, everybody's got an excuse. Everybody. Fuck your excuses. Nobody cares. Not a single person cares about your excuses. You are the only one. You're the only one that cares, right? And you're gonna use that excuse to tell you lies to be broke for the rest of your life. Come on now, you're the only one listening. I'm selling a property that I have a lot of equity and want a 1031 to buy more. What's the best way to not over leverage, or what's the best way to maximize that? So I just finished the 1031 and I use those funds to burr into 7 more houses. So I just use the money to burr into 7 more properties. All of our parents talked about was to go to school or go to work for someone. Agreed. Break the cycle. Break the cycle. Favorite book outside of your own? Great question. The book Think and Grow Rich changed my life. Fastest way to pay off your property. Just put as much money into the property to pay down the principal as possible. Marcel, I think. Marcelios. Stop that. Again, you're the only one telling lies to yourself. And if your kids question it, it's because you question it. And that's okay. Like, if you just started affirmations, like that's why you do affirmations. It's because you're trying to get rid of those old negative beliefs from the past. One of my affirmations, like, I'm sitting here talking to you on a camera, in front of 100 people between all the streaming platforms. And there was a day not too long ago where I would literally walk into a room, open the door, a networking event, walk into the room and see how many people were in there that were all there to network and meet people, just like I was hoping to meet people. And I would see how many people were in there and I would turn around and leave because I was shy. I was nervous. I felt like I didn't belong, right? So one of my daily affirmations, what do you think it was? I carry my shoulders high and I know I bring value when I walk into any room. And I said that to myself enough times that I walk into any room and I know I bring value. I'm like, yo, Austin's in the house. What it do? I'm good. Because I said that to myself enough times. So it's okay if you don't believe it yet. That's what the affirmations are for. Say it enough times till you wholeheartedly, genuinely believe it and you live that way, and your kids aren't going to question that, I promise. Let's go. I love to hear it. Let's get it. What's an ideal interest rate on private money when you're starting out flipping houses? It's whatever you can negotiate. There's no right or wrong answer. I pay usually 8 to 12%, but it's whatever you want to negotiate with them. Do you ever buy tax deed or lien homes? I have in the past. Yes. How'd you find your first private money lender? It was at a networking event. I was just talking. They retired and they rolled their money to a self-directed IRA. They're going to use that money to invest into future deals. And real estate's hard. It's not the easiest thing, obviously. It's very simple, but it's difficult, right? Simple, but different. So they ended up lending me the money on my first deal. Have you ever got Section 8 tenants? Yes, for sure. If your affirmations is I make 1 mil per year, maybe you also need affirmations like I'm capable of earning 1 mil per year. I work hard to make 1 million. I deserve 1 million due to my hard work. Agreed. I love it. I know you mentioned you purchased some apartments. Are you syndicating? No, I'm not syndicating. I'm not syndicating. Nothing wrong with it. Personally, I just don't want to do it. You do these syndications and what's up, Malik? And you own, 10, 20, 30, 40% of these deals. Like my portfolio, I have zero financial partners, zero, $27 million, no financial partners, right? With syndication, you own 10, 20, 30, 40% of that. I just want to own it, right? I just want to own the real estate. I'm not saying I won't ever do syndication. I'm sure there's going to come a time where I do a huge deal and I have to syndicate. But for right now, I'm not syndicating. Are you buying creative financing? Yes. How can I send you my deals? Hit the email in my bio, support at dawesomerutherford.com. Bro, answer my legitimate question. I think I answered it. I'm like way behind, by the way. If you're asking questions, I'm getting to it, I promise. How do I get business funding without it tying to my personal name and social to the guarantor when I have my LLC and trust? If you're broke, you got to personally guarantee it. Like people are always looking for like the free route. You're looking to get free money that you don't have to pay back. That's not personally guaranteed. Who would loan that money? Like, come on now. If you don't have anything, why would somebody give you a free loan? Why I PG all my stuff, right? Because I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. What's a recent nugget you have taken from your coach or mentor? Great question. A separation season. There's so much negativity in the world. Talk positive thoughts and positive energy out into the world, and people will be attracted to that. That's why you see me doing lives now. This is my second live. I go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be here. Where'd you get most of your knowledge, mentors, trail, YouTube, books? Coaches, mentors. I spend 50 to 100 grand a year hiring coaches and mentors every year because I believe in learning from someone that's in a position that I want to be in, right? That's just real. Like people that are it's copy and paste. Like, why would you try to learn the hard way? Learn from somebody who's just doing it. How do you find your off-market deals? I buy a lot of deals from wholesalers. Do you have in-house contractors for the rehab or just contract it out? We have a general contractor, so we contract it out. Are you doing larger deals now based on the market or smaller deals you can rent if needed? I see a good opportunity on a property, but it's definitely a larger scale flip in Cleveland, Ohio. So personally, I'm not flipping single family houses that are high end properties that will not cash flow. I'm flipping houses in the entry level market. So if they don't sell, I can still rent it out as a rental property and cash flow. Unless there's just stupid profit margin, then I would do it. All right, I got time for a couple more questions here. If you got questions, drop it. Got time for a couple more. Like I said, I go live Wednesdays at 8:00 Eastern. Make sure you put in your schedule. I'll be here. If you want to learn real estate, if you want to scale your rental portfolio, if you want to start building wealth using other people's money, drop the word elevate below. Drop the word elevate, and I'll send you some information. Show you how we can help. And also, like I said, grab some of my books too. Dude, I can't find any deals from wholesalers in Dayton, Ohio. Maybe all the good wholesalers are not on Facebook. How do you recommend to become the buyer for good wholesalers? Become known, omnipresence, build a huge brand on social media. Go to every networking event that exists. Post it in Facebook groups. Post it on social media. People need to know that you're buying, right? It's the first person that comes to mind. I buy a lot of deals from people, and even sometimes they send deals to other people because I didn't message them that week. Like I've got a list of people I message every week, and I post on social media every week that I'm buying real estate. Is this a good time to buy rental properties? Interest rates being so high? Yes, I buy rental properties. I'm using interest-only loans to help with that. Storage facilities or multifamily developments. Also, you do any development deals? I kind of. There's a multifamily. It's 108 units. I have a small equity piece. I help raise money to do that deal. So I have a small equity piece in that. And looking to start doing warehouse new development as well. Austin, how to do it? How do we delay gratification to stay low key saving to go hard? How not to give into temptation for luxuries early on? It's just, you just gotta fucking do it. Like it's really that simple. Like you gotta have a bigger vision too. Right? My first check, my first deal was 100 grand. Right? I didn't spend a penny of it, not one penny, not a single penny. I didn't go to dinner. I didn't buy a pair of sneakers. I didn't go on a vacation. Didn't do anything because I knew 100 grand wasn't the vision. 100 grand wasn't shit to where I was trying to go. So I reinvested every single penny back into the business. I then went on to flip a bunch of houses, making multiple six figures a year, continued driving my 2004 Toyota Camry. I was probably worth, I don't even know, 5 grand maybe. Continued driving that for many, many years while I was making six figures, right? Finally upgraded, got a big baller car, and it was a Jaguar. It was 33 grand. $33,000 making multi six figures a year. 33 grand, right? Then I had money, make a multi six figures a year. I could have moved into whatever house I wanted to move in, right? I house hacked. I actually burred into a house hack. So I bought the house using OPM, refinanced, then house hacked it for multiple years while I was making that type of money. And I ended up building a new construction house many, many years into making, multi six figures. And my new construction house, because I waited for the right opportunity, I bought the land for $3,000. I built the house for like 300 grand, 350. I got a 15-year property tax abatement. So my taxes were like $80 a month. No, $18 a month. And my mortgage payment was about $2,500 a year. That's it. I mean, a month, $2,500 a month, right? Every single thing in my life, I delayed my gratification. Right now, I want to go buy a Rolls Royce Cullinan. That's what I want to get, but I have it, right? Because I'm buying a lot of real estate right now, right? I'm buying a lot of real estate. So I'd rather put that money into real estate than go buy a Cullinan that isn't going to produce me money. But when I buy the real estate, that's going to produce the money that I need to go buy the Cullinan, right? So I always just play games in my head. It's like whatever I want in life, how do I find another way for somebody to pay for it? So for example, when I built my new construction house, I was house hacking, so I was living for free. So when I built the new house, I was going to have to pay $2,500 a month for my mortgage payment. So I figured out, I was like, all right, I make $200-300 a month in rental properties. So let me go buy 7 more rental properties, which will then cover my mortgage payment, right? Boom, bought the 7 rental properties, built the house. When I wanted to get my Rolls Royce Wraith, it was about 200 grand when I bought it. I was like, all right, cool. Let me buy 13 more rental properties to cover it's cash, so there's no payments. But if there were payments, it'd be 13 rental properties. I actually couldn't get financed. I tried to finance it. They said no. So I just bought it cash. So I bought 13 rental properties and I wanted to start a new business and make 6 figures. So I bought the 13 rental properties. I started a new business. I made 100 grand in profit. Then I bought the Rolls Royce Wraith, right? So it's like, I always play games in my head. It's like, what do I need to do to get what I want, but have other people pay for it, right? That's a game that I always play in my head. Respect feels like so many people judge off our cars and possessions, so it pressures us into bad decisions. Agreed. But that's the problem with society, right? You don't got to fake it. You can actually be rich and have the nice things. So drop the word elevate below if you want help with real estate, finding deals, raising money, building wealth using other people's money. Drop the word elevate. I'll send you some information on it. Would love to work with you. I'm live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're here. And yeah, appreciate y'all taking the time tonight. And hopefully y'all have a great evening. I'm about to go hang out with the wifey and get to it tomorrow. So appreciate y'all. Have a good evening. Peace out.